Hello again, everyone. One of the coaches at Unga Academy here, and welcome back to our usual chat about our portfolio strategies that have performed the best in the last period. As always, though, as you know, before we get started, I invite you to leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell so that you can stay updated on all our new content. Thanks so much. Hi, we are the Unga Academy, and we teach traders how to make money in the markets. Our founder, Andrea Unga, had been struggling with trading for years until he developed his automated trading method, which he used to become the only 4-time world trading champion. Subscribe to our channel for free tips and tricks. Okay, so today I'd like to show you some strategies that are part of our portfolio that I had spoken about in one of the videos that we released back in December 2021, the video on round numbers. So what are round numbers, first of all? Well, they are price thresholds that fall within a rounded range, such as 5, 10, 50, and so on. Today we're going to go back to some of those strategies, of which this one, we had seen the script together. It was coded in December 2021, and basically it does nothing more than just enter on the round 50-point ranges. So let's look at the indicator below. In the other video, we explained more about why we're going to use, for the Data 2, a non-back-adjusted custom future. And this is because due to the rollovers, trading on round numbers in the past, namely on older contracts or adjusted expirations, would cause the backtest to be misleading. So be very careful when testing round numbers. In this case, we'll select round thresholds, as mentioned, around 50 points. At the beginning of each session, we'll draw some lines. For example, today, if we go a little bit wide here, you can see that the upper level will be at 3,950 and the lower level, now here you can't see it very well, but it's 3,900 because in this case, the step is 50 points. So it will identify two price levels, one above the opening and one below the opening. So that's it on the round level. On crossing upwards, we'll enter long. So let's see if the SP 500 could break through the 3,950. Maybe the strategy will enter, because there are also other conditions, such as, for example, the time window, which in this case was left quite loose. And then should we instead have that a break below 3,900, here's where the strategy will enter at market. It's a multi-day strategy that will therefore keep positions open beyond the session's end. Now we had left off at about this point, and the results were already very good. And you can see that even after it was developed, despite the fact that 2022 was a very difficult year so far, the strategy was able to perform in the right way. Of course, the curve of the long trades has suffered a bit more. That's because in 2022, this underlying asset and in general, all stocks around the world, but also bonds, saw very large downturns. So it was certainly more complex to gain in this regard. While on the other hand, the short side was able to make very good profits. As mentioned before, this is a strategy that we've already seen together. It has an average trade of about $170, and this year it's managed to generate a good number of trades. And this is because as the value of underlying assets increases, reaching the 50-point thresholds become easier and easier to reach. Now, in the years in which the strategy worked a lot, such as 2020 and 2021, we had some outstanding performances, while now it's performing, well, a little less well. You see, we have an average trade of about $100, while in the previous years we had $200 and $350. However, look, 2022 is still a very good year since we have a profit of around $14,000. Now let's go and try and look at the other strategies. There is another one that I had coded in 2018. It also works on the SP 500 and enters in steps of 50 points. Since when we coded it, it had some good years like 2019 and some bad years like 2020. Then 2021 turned positive again, and then 2022 turned bad. In short, a strategy that, judging by the equity line, went up in post-development, but certainly struggled slightly more than the previous one. In this case, the strategy will open and close its positions on the same day. So this is an intraday strategy. And so it's different from the previous one, which was multi-day. Maybe it could be precisely because it is an intraday strategy that its performance is worse than that of the multi-day one. Now let's go and have a look at a similar strategy that also uses round numbers, but in this case on crude oil. The concept's the same. However, in this case, we won't enter in $50 steps because that would probably lead the strategy to make just 1 or 2 trades a year if successful. Instead, we'll use $5 steps. So by increments of $5 here, if the market comes in from below and breaks a round number of 5, then it'll buy. If the market comes from above the level and breaks the round number of 5, as in this case, the strategy will open a short position. When it comes instead from below the market, then it will enter long. The strategy has also been out of sample for quite some time, since 2019, pretty much at this stage here. And you'll see that even post-development, especially in the last phase, incredibly, the short side has worked well, even though the buy and hold was not that bearish, as we've seen. While on the other hand, the long side managed to successfully exploit the trade that came up in crude oil. So overall, the strategy also worked great. Now, all that glitters is not gold, because we have another one that also works on round numbers and is applied to the gold future, and it was working pretty well. We had left off that it was more or less at this point, and all of the period was out of sample. But unfortunately, the strategy in the last period has experienced a drawdown. Look, this doesn't mean that we'll never use the strategy again, but that most likely for a certain amount of time, until it gives positive signals, at least, let's say, 6 months from now, we won't operate with this strategy, so potentially we'll limit the damage. This strategy also enters in steps of 50 points. However, as I told you on gold, this is also a multi-day strategy like the first one that we saw. And so yeah, now you guys have seen that round numbers are something that could be used by all traders, especially by our systematic traders on different markets. We have seen very good results on the S&P and crude oil, but we haven't lost hope on gold, because maybe tomorrow the strategy will be able to recover as well. Well guys, if there is someone among you who's interested in the world of systematic trading, I suggest that you go and click on the link that we leave in the description of this video. From there, you'll be able to watch a free presentation by Andrea Unger, our founder, and the only 4-time world champion in real money trading. Go get our best-selling book by just covering shipping costs, or even book a free call with a member of our team. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, and go and click on the bell so that you can stay updated on the release of all our new and upcoming content. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon in our next video. Bye-bye for now.